Hi, my name is Simone and I'm the Zen Mommy. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel. I help people with spiritual awakening and ascension and the healing of the mind, body, and soul. Today, I'm going to go for my list of topics. Well, I have new topics that I've added, and I already decided which one I'm choosing from the topic to do first. So I want to talk about developing communication with your spirit guide. The reason why I want to talk about this subject because, I've talked to a lot of people who come with me with like certain concerns about different feelings they're having, different emotions or different anxieties that they're feeling. And my first thing is I always say, do you communicate with your spirit guide or your spirit? And when I say spirit guide, so if you're new to awakening, this is definitely something you need to learn. And if you're new to awakening and you're like me, coming out of religion and Christianity, you first gotta kind of break away from the programming that the spirits are evil, the guides. And so I'll talk a little bit more about that, but for me, I found it very profound in my life to understand what the spirit, these beings are. And so it could be called spirit guides, it could be called higher self, it could be God, whatever that you're using for guidance. You don't have to think that far out the box. If you can't, for the life of you, imagine that a spirit is helping you and dealing with you, just imagine how you've always imagined that I prayed to God and God answered and God is assisting me. So you kind of look at it like that, right? Okay, so now that I got that part out of the way, let's see, where was I at? Okay, I'm just going to start. Okay, so let's see. So when it comes to developing a communication with the spirit guides, I was talking about how that's the first question that I ask people, and the reason why I ask that is because through my journey, some of the things that I've learned about myself and some of the things that I'm going through, I learned I've gotten through a lot for developing my communication with my higher self or spirit guides, whatever you really want. It really doesn't matter what you call it, and I'm just going to tell you that right now. It's a label, and one thing with this ascension is a part of the ascension is dropping off all of the labels, because you are everything and everything is you, and labels is just how we identify it in this reality, because for language reasons. But sorry, someone's talking. Okay, so labels. We have to eventually get ready to let go of the idea of needing to be labeled or having labels like twin flame, soulmate, starseed. Everything is some type of label. Vegan is even a label. And so with the ascension process, so I'm only just bringing it up is because, for me, when I first awakened, there was a lot of confusion on what are these guides and whatnot. Okay, back to the main part of the subject. Let's develop that. Okay, so we want to develop a communication with a spirit guide. So what worked for me on my journey, number one, first of all, I was one of the most skeptical people. I was religious, raised Christian, and communicating with spirits was bad for me. And it was hard for me to accept that something otherworldly was talking to me. And so my first incident, and I actually did a video on this, my first incident, I heard the spirit talk to me. And, it was in the form of a voice in my mind. And it did, what it does, it sounded like it sounds like your thoughts. It's like your mind, when your mind runs and you hear yourself talking in your head, having your own conversations, running through your day, that kind of thing. But a spirit guide or your higher self, your messenger, whatever, will slip a message in there that doesn't necessarily align with your regular thoughts. You won't see it right away. See, the thing is, our mind, we've been so conditioned and programmed to block these things out. We are partaking of water that has fluoride in it, different things that has closing our third eye since we were young. And so when you hear stuff like that, it's so easy to dismiss it. And so I remember I was standing on the beach. It was right after my awakening, and I didn't really understand what was going on, but I was like seeing nature and beauty for the first time, and I was outside. I was out on a balcony in San Diego, and the beach was beautiful, and all of a sudden I heard something say, "You have to abandon all your beliefs." I was like, no, Jesus Christ is Lord. I'm not gonna abandon my beliefs. And my spirit was like, no, you have to abandon all your belief, and once you do, you'll have all of the answers. You'll have untold, limitless possibilities, and you'll understand things. And at first it was shocking, and my mind still tried to think, oh, you just imagined that, right? But the truth is, I would never tell myself, abandon all your beliefs. I was hardcore in Christianity. Let me tell you something about a belief system. A religious belief system is nothing that no one can take away from you. That is your faith. Like any belief system we develop, before awakening or after awakening, you are what you believe. Once you have a thought that's thought long enough turns into a belief. And once that belief gets in your subconscious mind, it's stuck there, okay? That's what you are. No one could have turned me away. But when I had that thought, I was just like, no way, I would never think that. And so, although I didn't see it then, I started getting synchronicities. Like, I had a fortune cookie, right? I opened the fortune cookie up, and it said, in order to see the light, you must first deal with the darkness. And I've never heard of a fortune cookie that had a message like that. And at that time in my life, I had darkness. I had this toxic energy vampire ex who was a narcissistic personality disorder that was draining me. I had this religious belief system. I grew up in this religious Christian church that ended up being a cult. I didn't know it was a cult. I didn't believe it was a cult. But it took me to go through a lot of things to finally slowly break away from that belief system, to realize, oh my God, I had my awakening. See, we thought we were the only ones. We thought that we were the one true church and everybody else was going to perish. And God chose us and we were special. And so that was my programming. And I couldn't break away from that. But that programming also had me blocked, right? So different things my spirit guide, my higher self will try to show me, block, because this belief, nope, you can't believe in that, that's evil. Nope, this belief, you can't believe in that, that's evil. So this is what a limiting belief system will do to you. It'll block you. You won't have a communication with your spirit guides. So that darkness that I had to deal with is I had to realize that I was in darkness, that I was coming out of darkness, that I was awakening to light. And so that was the first sign for me. But, I didn't have anyone actually telling me. I would watch videos about spirit guides, and I heard, but nobody really told me how to deal with it, what to do. And it's a lot of times you can listen to these videos and they can explain all those kind of details. But I kind of just want to, I guess, get really basic with you on how to be able to talk, to communicate with your spirit, and to be able to get answers, and to be able to find out when your spirit is trying to talk to you and communicate. Because see, the communication from the spirit is telepathic communication. They don't have English. They don't speak Chinese. They don't speak Arabian. They don't speak Spanish. They're not indoctrinated with all of our many languages. So they're going to communicate with you through thought, through feeling, through instinct, through impulse, okay, through signs, through synchronicities. You might turn on Pandora and hear a song that gives you the message you need. Stuff like that, That's how people, when they use oracle and tarot cards, it's just these are all tools that you or the spirit uses to get this communication going. And so if you are going through something, and so I mentioned hearing it in the thoughts right there, but let's just say you're going through something and you're questioning, why am I feeling this way? Say you're suffering from anxiety or laziness or procrastination, okay? So let me give you something. I actually had this realization in the last few days, maybe last few days, this is the beginning of the week. And so, okay, so I've had this problem, okay? When I had this problem with procrastination, I'm trying to start this Zen mommy business and take it off, but at the same time, there's certain, I have all of these ideas, right? and then I get overwhelmed by the ideas, and then sometimes in the daytime I'll get like stuck, and I'll just be sitting there when I have a list of things to do and I can't get it done, right? And so I was having this extreme laziness, this extreme unmotivation, right? Like I wasn't motivated. Like, okay, so recently I was campaign manager for Governor Wildstar. He's running for California. He's running for governor in California this year. He's a libertarian. He's awake. And I volunteered to be his campaign manager. And so with that came, there was a lot of things that I was going to have to work and have to do. And, with me, I'm like, oh, yeah, I want to help. I volunteered to do this. And when it came time to do it, I couldn't get the energy to want to do it. I couldn't get like the excitement. I kept coming up with excuses. I was just like, why am I like this? I'm like, I was thinking I'm a self-sabotager. I've ruined so many things, just by being lazy and tired and not so much tired and lazy, but like I feel like there's a block and I can't think straight. And I don't know what else to do if I don't have a list written out in front of me. This is like been one of my holdbacks for quite some time. And I was just like, I don't get it. Why am I going through this? I want this over. It's going to hold me back with, trying to do something with Zen Mommy and trying to make a successful career out of my passions. And so I had put that on my mind, and I started to go into meditation and asking about it. And like, look, I need help with this. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what to do next. I'm doing everything. I'm trying to raise my vibration. And so, as I was driving to the park the other day, I automatically kind of got enveloped with knowledge. Like all of a sudden, my spirit starts to show me, do you notice how you were trying to be the campaign manager and all of a sudden you couldn't get the motivation for it? I felt like this heavy weighing down. And basically my spirit has told me that this is because this is not in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing. And when you're not in alignment, that's like, so basically, before we incarnate on this earth, we are our higher selves, who we truly are, our soul essence. See, we kind of make contracts and agreements with ourselves. If things, if we don't align with our purpose at a certain point, or if we don't align with what we're supposed to be doing, or if we're going the wrong direction, we make these agreements that things start going wrong. Okay, so you can believe that or not, but just think about it. Just think about it. If you believe that you're an infinite being, just please believe that you have worked this deal out here on earth for you to get the experience you need for your ascension. And so I started to see that, wow, all of the times I felt really like unmotivational and procrastinating and tired and lazy, I was actually doing something I really didn't want to do. But when it comes to like, and the reason how, and this stood out to me because, number one, I assume that I'm just lazy like that about everything. I procrastinate about everything. But when I want to put on my YouTube camera and shoot these videos, I don't have laziness. I don't feel a procrastination. I don't feel unmotivated. I might be a little nervous. A topic might not come up. But I am juiced to do this. So that's how you begin. That's how I began to know that, okay, this spirit talks to me in different ways. It talks to me through my body. It made me feel procrastinated and overwhelmed. Okay. And so next incidence of the spirit communicating with you would be feeling anxiety. Say out of the blue, like I remember I was on my way to go to my friend's house, and in the car, out of the blue, anxiety hit me like that, and I just felt anxious. And I was just like, ooh, I'm not gonna drive. I'm gonna stay home tonight. And and maybe my spirit guide was keeping me home to, maybe preventing accident or whatever. But I do remember that when I did get home, that I ended up getting a message. I can't remember exactly what the message is, but I remember there was a reason that I got that anxiety feeling. So if you're feeling anxiety, if you're feeling anxious about something, so you want to go inwards. You want to look inwards, and like I said, when I meditate, I go inwards. And you can start meditation off with a question to your spirit guide or your higher self, right? And then once you present that question, you give yourself time and start looking for all of the signs of what kind of answer. Because now this answer, it sometimes can come verbally, but like if you're not meditated up a lot, it's sometimes hard to discern in between the different thoughts. Is it my ego? If it's this? And so that's when it gets really confusing. So you really want to look for the synchronicities, the signs, the sign you drive by that has a message. You know, those kind of things, it speaks to you. And there's a feeling. It's not like you just see any sign. There is a feeling behind it, okay? So like if you feel a feeling like frustration, anxiety, and you don't really understand where it's coming from. Okay, so now another thing you can do. If you have a question for your spirit guide, or a question or a really deep concern. So one thing what happened to me is there was a point last year before my son Storm's first birthday. His dad, okay, the narcissist, energy vampire, enough said, he was a very toxic person. All of a sudden wanted to be a father. And, you know, I was spiritually awakening, and I was thinking I had to be nice about everything. And I was just like, I was puzzled. I was like, wow, he wants to come back. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. I remember I sat in my bed, and it was deeply on my heart. I didn't ask anything, but it was deeply on your mind. So you can verbally ask, or if you are emotional about it and you're deeply in thought about it before you go to bed, it's possible that it will answer in dreams. So me that night was deeply, I laid down and I went to bed. I woke up. I went to bed and I had a dream. I had a dream he came back to spending time with Storm, and then the woman he cheated with that lived upstairs for us shows up at my house, starting all kind of drama. And I remember I got so angry. I started cussing and screaming. I lost my peace. I lost my zen. And then I woke right up. And then I realized that was my answer. He cannot come back into my life. He cannot come back into my life for Storm. That is a toxic person, and he's only going to bring toxic energy. And that was my sign, right? So you have to be able to communicate like that. You have to be able to be aware of the signs and synchronicities around you. You have to, it's just plain and simple. You just ask a question. You can write it down. You can, or you can just ask it, go into meditation. And so you have to have start a meditation practice. So if you haven't, that's one of the ways to start cultivating, is start having a meditation practice. You know, try to meditate a little bit each day. See, at first it's not going to be easy, but once you really start to clear things out of your mind, you'll be able to hear your spirit talk to you, communicate to you, show you things. See, a lot that's in us is noise and clutter and conditioning and programming for the collective conscious. So meditation, in a way, starts to heal that. And so as you meditate daily, you start and grow your practice of meditation, you begin to clear out your mind and strengthen your connection with your higher self or your spirit guide. Okay, and so one more, let's see, what else I want to say about the spirit guide? This is a long video. I hope I can upload it. But the one last thing I wanted to say about the spirit guide is I think of it like this, okay? Imagine this. They talk about soul groups and soul families. So spirit guides, I believe that they're not anybody who's a stranger to us. It would be someone who agreed with us together. It would be a spirit that is a kindred spirit of ours, one of our family, soul family, a friend, somebody who loves us, trusts us, and looks out for us and knows us really well. Just because in this life we had to have amnesia and not remember everything from before, because we needed to have a certain experience to evolve. But imagine that the guides are here. Imagine your close friends, your partners, okay? Imagine that their souls are around, helping you, assisting you, and guiding you through the way. And so you might not know exactly their names. Some people say they know their names and things, and I don't think that even matters, because I don't believe we have verbal, physical names anyway. But the thing is, just learn how to trust your spirit, trust your higher self, and give yourself radical trust. Like when you hear a thought in your mind, if you hear a message, you just begin to have faith and lean on that message, even if it's wrong at first, right? See, this is about developing that. Like Jerome Brown was teaching me how to develop my intuitive abilities. He was saying it's much like a muscle. Some people, everybody can get muscles. You have to work it out to make it stronger. So that's kind of how it is. You start to develop your intuition and meditate. And so I'm going to end it right now. It's super long, but thank you so much for watching. Peace and love. Namaste.